All right, everyone, I'm gonna get us started here. Um, and so thank you for hopping on to our free monthly webinar here. And so today's webinar is gonna be understanding your customer market research for small businesses. And then we're gonna get started. First, we have a video from Center for
Hello, and
Rural
thank you for
Affairs.
joining today's webinar, sponsored by the Center for Rural Affairs. My name is Nikki Chitwood, and I'm the Panhandle Loan Specialist. As one of the many services we provide, I am here to introduce to you our lending services. When a bank can't help you with your dreams of homeownership or growing a business, the Center for Rural Affairs can. We offer coaching and financing to help you become a homeowner and start or grow a sustainable business. Please feel free to contact me at 308-631-0157, or you can visit cfra.org for more information.
And we'd like to thank Center for Rural Affairs for being a sponsor of our monthly webinars. And so definitely use the Center for Rural Affairs for assistance. They're one of the many great resources to assist businesses here in Nebraska. And then our featured sponsor is our Grow Nebraska Women's Business Center located in Omaha, Nebraska. They also have a lot of great events and just classes they put on. And so definitely go and check out their website. They have bail office hours weekly where you can get help from different resource providers, as well as what bail stands for, which is banker, accountant, insurance, and legal. Then our featured member is the Nebraska Firefighters Museum, and they've been a member with us since 2022, and they're located here right in Kearney, close to the Archway. And then this week's presenter is Josefina Loza, and so I'm just going to let her get started.
Thank you for that. I'm excited to be here with all of you. I know this is the third part of my series, so it's the final one. If you've been enjoying it, feel free to definitely take any of the surveys or recommendations, that you would want to submit as far as other things that you would want me or others to speak on, I think are huge. But as we get started, I did want to say there's going to be a part when we get to the agenda where if you email, and I'll put it in here right now, office@losafina.com, you're going to get a worksheet that's going to be sent to you within, like, I don't know, maybe a few seconds, 30, 40 seconds. So you can follow along as we look at market research, really understanding your customer base, your audience, or what and who you're trying to target, really is what it is. I tend to be very active and I love to hear feedback from people. So use the chat. If you want to ask questions directly, I'll try to keep an eye on it on my end. But the only way this works is if there's engagement. That's through and through. So if you have questions, you can either email office@losafina.com, or you can hop in and just say in the chat that you have a question. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to share my screen. I just built it out of Canva, super easy. But I think this is definitely something that is going to be hopefully powerful in the sense that you'll be able to really identify who it is, to get that follow-up traffic online or in person. Understanding your customer is huge. Oftentimes it's just you have a relationship with them, right? Oftentimes we look at them as a number and we need to not. It's not inventory, but it's a human being who wants to see you supported, right? They're there to see your small business flourish. Maybe it's, a family member, right? They want to see you succeed. Or maybe your audience base is not what you think it is. I was a little surprised and startled when I started looking at some of the different audiences on different platforms, and we'll talk about that here in a little bit. So my contact information I have below, and I'll definitely share it again at the end, the final slide for questions and answers. Again, feel free to log in immediately. And then shoot me off a quick message, office@losefina.com. Just say hi. It doesn't have to be anything massive. I just want you to have access to that worksheet because I feel it's a valuable tool for you to utilize. You can save it as a PDF, fill it out later, or print it off however you see fit. But the agenda for today is obviously you're meeting me, the speaker. We'll go over what is market research. I know sometimes people wonder, why do I simplify it so much? But I mean, you have to know the fundamentals. You have to know why we're doing this in the first place and what it is exactly you're looking for. We'll look at how to conduct it, right? Especially on a budget. We'll analyze like the data that you're receiving so that way you're making certain that you're making effective use of it, right? How to leverage market insights, making informed decisions, and again, questions and answers. So for me, I am Josefina Loza, born and raised here, Omaha, Nebraska, native, but I started my branding, marketing and PR firm here because I really love communication strategies. I love studying people's behaviors and understanding what makes them tick. And in exchange, I love to be able to educate others, whether they're businesses or nonprofits of all sizes, on how to tell their stories effectively, how to make sure that they're reaching the audience base that they need, how to build a community out from it. That is what I enjoy the most. So I work with nonprofits and businesses of all sizes, really on impact and making certain that they are, that it's a reciprocal thing that happens. It's a reciprocal thing that happens when with every transaction as a business owner. And I want you to always keep that customer at the forefront. So we're going to start in with what is market research? Market research and why it matters. So I have a little video. I often like to play up visuals. We live in a very visual society, and sometimes it hits a little different when you see things connect online. So let's go ahead and start with the video of what is market research.
Market research is a crucial element for any successful business. It is the process of gathering information about potential customers and the market in which a business operates. This information is then used to create products and services that meet the needs of their target audience. Market research helps businesses make informed decisions, resulting in higher sales, increased customer loyalty, and improved profitability. There are many different types of market research that businesses can undertake. One of the most common methods is surveys. Surveys can be conducted online, over the phone, or in person. They can be used to gather information about customer preferences, buying habits, and satisfaction with products and services. Surveys can provide businesses with information about how customers feel about their products or services and what they would like to see improved. For example, a clothing retailer may conduct a survey to find out what types of clothing customers are looking for, what colors and styles they prefer, and what price points they are willing to pay. Focus groups are another type of market research. They are small groups of people who are brought together to discuss a particular product or service. Focus groups can provide valuable insights into consumer behavior and help businesses identify areas for improvement. Focus groups can be used to test new products or services, get feedback on existing products, and understand how customers make purchasing decisions. For example, a fast food chain may conduct a focus group to get feedback on a new menu item before it is launched to the public. The focus group participants can provide feedback on the taste, price, and overall appeal of the menu item. Data analysis is also an important part of market research. By analyzing data from sales reports, social media, and other sources, businesses can identify trends and patterns in consumer behavior. This information can then be used to develop targeted marketing campaigns and improve products and services. Data analysis can provide businesses with information about how customers interact with their products or services, what they like and dislike, and what they are willing to pay for. For example, a technology company may analyze social media data to understand what features customers are looking for in a new smartphone. This information can then be used to develop a new product that meets those needs. Another type of market research is competitor analysis. This involves gathering information about the competition, such as their products and services, pricing, and marketing strategies. Competitor analysis can help businesses identify areas where they can differentiate themselves and gain a competitive advantage. By understanding what their competitors are doing, businesses can identify gaps in the market and develop strategies to fill those gaps. For example, a coffee shop may analyze the menu offerings and pricing of other coffee shops in the area to determine what types of products and pricing strategies are most effective. Market segmentation is another important element of market research. It involves dividing a market into smaller groups of consumers with similar needs and characteristics. By understanding the different segments of a target audience, businesses can create targeted marketing campaigns and develop products and services that meet the specific needs of each segment. Market segmentation can help businesses identify which segments are most profitable and where they should focus their marketing efforts. For example, a car manufacturer may segment its target audience into different age groups, income levels, and lifestyles to develop vehicles that meet the needs of each segment. Brand awareness research is also important for businesses. It involves gathering information about how well known a brand is and what associations people have with the brand. This information can be used to develop marketing strategies that improve brand recognition and build brand loyalty. Brand awareness research can help businesses understand how their brand is perceived by their target audience and identify areas where they need to improve their brand image. For example, a sports brand may conduct brand awareness research to understand how well known their brand is among different age groups and what associations people have with the brand. This information can be used to develop marketing strategies that improve brand recognition and build brand loyalty. Brand awareness research can help businesses understand how their brand is perceived by their target audience and identify areas where they need to improve their brand image. For example, a sports brand may conduct brand awareness research to understand how well known their brand is among different age groups and what people associate with their brand. Based on this information, they can develop marketing campaigns that target specific age groups and emphasize different aspects of their brand. Market research can be time-consuming and expensive, but it is a necessary investment for any business that wants to succeed in today's competitive market. It helps businesses make informed decisions, reduces the risk of failure, and increases the chances of success. By using the right market research methods and analyzing the data correctly, businesses can gain a deeper understanding of their customers and the market in which they operate. In conclusion, market research is a critical aspect of business that should not be overlooked. It helps businesses gain valuable insights into consumer behavior, identify areas for improvement, and develop targeted marketing campaigns. By investing in market research, businesses can make informed decisions and increase their chances of success in today's competitive market. If you found this video helpful, please consider liking, sharing, and subscribing to our channel for more informative videos on business and entrepreneurship. We hope you enjoyed this video on market research and encourage you to start incorporating these strategies into your own business practices.
All right. I'm always a fan of the leaders talk. I feel like education should be accessible to all. YouTube is something easy that people can utilize to learn more on different, business strategies, especially when it comes to marketing and PR tactics. But what we're going to do is really kind of dive in and unpack what that video was stating, like what it is that market research does, like who are we targeting and how to go about doing those things. I feel oftentimes when you go to a presentation, you don't have somebody slow it down to say, okay, this is what they mean by identifying and targeting, right? If you don't know how to do those things, then it's like, it's overwhelming and you mentally check out, and we don't want that. Especially when we want to see Nebraska businesses, local businesses do well. So let's start with the importance of it. So when it comes to understanding your audience base, you really want to tailor any marketing efforts that are going to help you yield better results. Meaning, like, if you know that you have a customer base, you do a quick little survey to see which products that they really enjoy. That's going to help you restock and build up that inventory of those products, right? So that's the same case when you want to really build a relationship or build out a community with your customers. Getting to know them, getting to know like their age group, key interests of them, how they want to be addressed, right? Some people want to be sent updates about new products via text message, right? So then you might want to look at some SMS or you know, some of the different feeds that are out there that you can send out text alerts. Maybe others prefer email, right? Or they say, no, this is my email is so inundated with stuff. I just want to be entertained and have a commercial that pops up to let me know. So that is how we personalize and make relevant messages to our audience base. But identifying them is where we're at with conducting the market research. You know, we can create personas like an ideal in there's our idea of who our client base might be or who we're trying to attract. But when we start to analyze, and we'll talk about how to go about doing that, you know, the audience base that currently is actually indeed yours, it may be vastly different. Um, I always think that by having a buyer persona, it's kind of interesting how you perceive your customer base, but maybe what the reality is. And I think that there's something to be had about, you know, checking out your competitor's audience. Maybe if you have a similar product, right? See who is, you know, gravitating or attracted to that product or that service. Is that who you want? If it's not, how can you retool it so you get the audience base that you want? So a couple of the things that we'd be looking for when we do type of market research is like, who are your potential customers? Like, what are their demographics? Maybe there's like social economic areas that you feel like maybe you're more high end. So you offer, I don't know, luxury handbags. You're going to want to tap into that market that may not be on I don't know, an Instagram ad, right? For everyone. That's not gonna be something that I would want to tailor to that demographic. Maybe I would want to go look at, you know, collaborations or different things that I could do to make sure I'm hitting in those high end retailers, as well as customer base, and where do they spend their time, online and offline. So their interests really are key things that you should be paying attention to. So conducting market research on a budget. 3 things that we're going to identify here in the next few minutes is really looking at affordable research tactics. Those techniques that are going to really bring in people are going to be utilized through surveys, so questionnaires, really getting to know them. Social media listening. We know social media exists, but when we say social media listening, we're talking about really paying attention to what they're saying, what they're doing, and how they're interacting. And then again, your competitor analysis is gonna be huge, okay? So let's launch in first with surveys and questionnaires. There are 2 tools, there are many tools, but 2 online tools that I really enjoy utilizing would be like Google Forms. That's free. You know, you have access to that. If you have a Gmail account, it's pretty simple to set up a survey and send it out to people. Also, SurveyMonkey, also very affordable. I think that they offer a free service and then you can do an upgrade. But in order for you to understand what we're talking about specifically with surveys and questionnaires, we're going to watch a little video based on how SurveyMonkey suggests you should use for businesses to collect that kind of data that's going to be important for your structure and your business model.
To add your first survey question, just start typing. Then, add in your answer choices. Add as many questions as you need. Pick a theme to personalize your survey. Want to add your logo or customize colors? You can do both with any paid plan. Next, you can preview your survey and see exactly how it will look to your survey takers. Still not sure your survey is ready? SurveyMonkey Genius will show you how your survey will perform. And it'll even give you recommendations for how to improve your survey if you need them. Next, choose how you want to send your survey. Easily grab a link to your survey. You can share your survey on social networks, email it to your contacts, and more. With your survey out in the world, you'll start collecting data and insights right away. That's all you need to do. Ready to create your survey?
All right, it really is that easy. It really is that easy to collect data. And I feel like sometimes people feel overwhelmed by the whole concept of collecting information and then what to do with it. We'll explain that later. But if you are dealing with any kind of client, customer base, the biggest thing is getting to know them, right? So you can speak to them, so you can understand them. The best, I think, method is just asking those survey questions or bringing in a focus group and just asking them directly. Case in point, I recently had brought together a small focus group to discuss a publication that we're producing. And, a lot of the stories are in completion, the topics are in completion. I just wanted to see how it was going to hit with the market that it's intended for. It's a younger market. So what I did is I said, okay, I want you to look at this publication, flip through it. What are you attracted to? What do you like? What do you dislike? What do you think should be done differently? Where do you get overwhelmed? Like, what topics are you most interested in? What topics are you least interested in? Just asking those questions will help them, I think, identify kind of where you're coming with the product, right? Or perhaps it's a service. But on the flip side, that you're able to take valuable insights, right? From a survey, from a focus group, from a questionnaire, and retool and re-strategize that product so it is ready to go to market. So that's why we do those things, right? The same with how we pay attention to social media. And I'm talking about monitoring really trends that are happening on platforms from like TikTok, Instagram, X, which is formerly known as Twitter, and Facebook. There's a lot to be said about the metrics that are back there. And when I say metrics, I'm talking about the analytical reports that you can click into on your business profile. It's called Insights on Facebook. And then it's analytics, I think, on a lot of the other formats, even on your website, right? So say you have an e-commerce website, click on it, read it, see who's online. Why are they signing in online? Are they like, what demographic are you looking at? What age group? There's a make and model of like, even right to the point of, are they coming on from mobile users or are they more desktop users? Because you can retool your messaging so that way it's palatable for them to understand and see. The other thing is like paying attention to how long they're online or how long they're browsing, a product, and maybe they didn't put it in their cart, or maybe they did put it in their cart, but then something distracted them and they left. So you can retool like how you're going to do your automation so that way you can reach out to them directly to say, hey, whoops, you forgot this in your cart. Like, don't forget to check out, could be a notification that's automatically sent to them when you have a customer profile. So all those data points really mean something. They're valuable information, so you should be paying attention to it. All right, so now we're going to talk about, and there are other services too, but we're going to talk about Sprout, Sprout Social. There's lots of different social listening tools. I just really liked how they communicated the importance of listening to audience bases, especially with their social media. We'll start here.
So you're developing a new product, launching a campaign, or maybe just changing up your brand messaging. How do you know if it'll resonate with the people who matter most to your business? Go straight to the source. Ask them. Now, there are a lot of ways to do that. A poll, a user survey, or lots and lots and lots of one-on-one conversations. But the only challenge with these methods is that it's hard to tell whether the responses you get are what people really think or just what they think you want to hear. So, how can you guarantee 100% honest opinions and candid reactions? Enter the world's largest, most open, and accessible focus group, social media. Now, a ton of effort goes into understanding the people you want to reach, their thoughts, their interests, their hobbies. But what you may not realize is that they're already telling you all day, every day. With every tweet, post, and interaction, they're giving you vital insights about themselves as people and as consumers. So listen up. All that information about what they think, feel, and believe has the potential to impact your marketing in a big way. And while tracking specific mentions of your brand through social monitoring is important, social listening allows you to cast a wider net to find and analyze conversations for powerful, qualitative insights. Not only does that information help inform a smarter social strategy, but there really isn't an area of your business that wouldn't benefit from a deeper understanding of topic and sentiment analysis, from marketing and PR to product design and media planning. Sprout's comprehensive listening suite features both monitoring and listening tools. So continue to track real-time mentions of your brand to improve engagement, discover monthly trends to understand context, and now analyze large volumes of social conversations to extract powerful insights. What real people are talking about, how they feel about it, where they are, and who they're listening to. So see and respond to what people say with monitoring, then zoom out to understand how they feel with listening. And watch how what you discover transforms your business.
Okay, as I said before, when it comes to social media listening tools, there's so many out there. You don't have to use necessarily Sprout. Hootsuite, I love. It's also kind of an offshoot of Brandwatch. But Brandwatch exists and they focus on like comprehensive and analytics, like understanding like maybe who are influencers, right? That you could make brand ambassadors, right? They're going to be really driven in AI assets like for your company. So I think that that's something else that we can talk about later, maybe in another chat. But it's the real-time monitoring, even with like TalkWalker and Hootsuite. It's being able to really like look and identify what people are clicking on, what maybe your competitor sites look like in comparison to yours. When it comes to understanding your pain points, I think that's something that's important too. Maybe you don't do well with a certain demographic and that's who you'd like to target. But spending time online and understanding your audience base is going to definitely serve you well. So now goes to the competitors analysis. And I think that it's kind of funny because I say that there is no competition because I'm so amazing. You know that there's no competing against me. I love what I do. But reality is we all have competitors, right? And I think it's in our advantage to know if you have a product that you're getting ready to go to market and you know that it's already kind of like there's a similar product out there, learn from them, learn from their mistakes, pay attention to what they do well. If it's a service that you offer, maybe, you know, you're in, you know, finance, right? And maybe you are a financial planner. See what others are doing, maybe to mix and mingle. Not that you have to copy them necessarily, but maybe some things work well or some things that you want to try, but you know that people have failed. Maybe you want to tweak those things. So that way you're having a more intimate setting with people. So that way you can attract more clients. So like I said, studying the strategies that exist out there, and then even going to your customer base or doing a wide pool on maybe, you know, feedback of like, okay, what is it about, you know, maybe finances that seem really difficult for a person to comprehend or understand, and how would they like to be approached? All that's going to serve you well when you're trying to build out that client base. So on to the next topic, which is really analyzing the data. So you want to be able to identify the trends. You want to be able to keep track of it. So I recommend either using Excel or Google Sheets and really keep track of, because a lot of these, like Hootsuite and you know, like if you're on Facebook or Instagram, LinkedIn, you can download all of those, all of your reports. You know, you can study who's logging on at what time and what's going to be the most effective way to reach the audience base down to the time, right? Down to the time of day that you want to launch a new product. That's important. So the gal that was in the Sprout video had said, like, let's look at the data and then take a step back and see it all big picture. I think that, you know, whether you're looking at the micro level or the macro, sometimes we don't spend enough kind of bridging the gap between the two to understand, okay, there's a reason why people are logging on at 8 o'clock at night. Maybe it's because work is done, right? The kids are tucked away in bed, or supposed to be. You're winding down for the day after dinner at least, right? And now they want to scroll and just chill, right? So that might be the most effective time to reach people. Or it may be people are waking up for the day, right? So that way you know that there's a range of, if you target people anywhere from like 7 to 9 o'clock in the morning, you're going to have a big influx of people that are going to be directed to your website because they're going to see the messaging that you sent out there. So they're most likely to be online and clicking into it. Customer segmentation is really focused on now those behaviors, right? So if we know those behaviors that we had just discussed are things that people are doing, then you can start building strategies about what you want launched when you want it, or what product you want to release to people, or how you want to effectively like message them. Maybe it's people are still OGs and like to do mailers, right? If you're in the business of like, I don't know, school supplies, obviously you're going to wait until do mailers closer to the back to school, right? Because that's going to be a big push for you. So I think really interpreting the data, looking at the results, and understanding your client base is what's going to help you build out and identify like really great marketing pitches, really great advertisements, really great ways of interacting with people in ways that you didn't think we were gonna, leveraging it. So it's not just being able to read it. Now it's really redefining those strategies that we were talking about. So remember how I said, I don't just like to yap at people. I want them to really understand what they can do with these data points. I love data. It goes down to understanding my like let's go back to that magazine that I was describing. You know, I believe in the psychology of colors, right? So I know that if I do certain things in like maybe grayscale, black and white, which are classic, that might seem a bit more professional, right? But if I was to look at different hues and attract a younger, brighter, like vivacious audience base, I'm gonna want to look at brighter colors. I'm gonna, maybe look at the yellow hues and the red hues and understand what they mean, right? And then if I'm looking at how I'm speaking to them in this publication, right? Maybe it's the verbiage that I use. I don't want to be forward straight talking to them, but instead, have a conversational tone in which I'm reaching them. So all these insights really help you retool your product or your service, and then your approach. I'm not doing this for me. I'm doing this for the customer, hence the customer experience, right? I want to know that when they come to me, it's the most enjoyable, interactive, engaging experience that they've ever had, that they feel like they're talking to a friend, that they can call up anytime. When they pull up my website, they can continue the conversation because they're like learning from me, right? So in my field, I want to make sure it's always conversational and informative, and I'm educating and entertaining. So you're able to identify keywords. You're able to really set up kind of your ethos of your business, why it's important, what you're structuring it around, and how you adjust those marketing campaigns to make sure that you continually engage them. It's a reciprocal thing. Remember how I said, I learn from them, they learn from me, and it continues to happen. I'm seen as the credible insider. And then in exchange, I'm paying attention to them to see how I can continue to be relevant for their needs, right? So that's where we really start to be on the cusp of being an innovator, right? And looking at how things and whether it's the data that drives innovation or how we stay competitive, it's how we think new things. Like, okay, I know that my audience base has felt like they've known me for a long time, right? They've been following my newsletter. It garners 13,000 people on Josefina. So maybe it's time, that since they are always signing in on a Friday, seeing if my newsletters hit their inbox, to say, let's meet up in person, right? Let's have a meetup. Like, let's go to a location where you can ask your questions live. That's going to be more interactive. That's going to give more face value. That's going to be worth more in weight than just looking at data and not doing anything with it. Instead, I'm able to tool strategies to say, my audience base not just likes to come online and learn, but they really like to engage me. So like, let's just go ahead and set up a meetup. Let's do something where we bring different brands and they can meet the brands directly, or different nonprofits and how they can, coexist in my playful world. So I want you to really think on what your business is, right? And then how you can utilize it by creating, just the different experiences that your customers are going to enjoy, whether that's in person, online, or if it's a text message. Okay. So making informed decisions. I think that that's key in knowing that, like, not always when you have a product is it going to hit well, right? Or maybe you try something and it's a flop. I think there's success in that anyhow, right? Because oh, I love a good exit interview. I really do. I love a great survey. I'm a nerd, I know, I really do, because I want to know what I did well and I want to know how I can improve. I mean, they're just evaluations. We're used to being evaluated. We're used to being judged on a criteria. And when you're in business, I think that the thing is like, you want to be successful. What do we always say? Like, the whole point of business is to make money and not lose it, right? And when you start acting like a business, then all of a sudden you're going to become a business, like, right? You're stepping in and owning your truth. Well, you have to step in and own what the market demands too, and you have to align yourself. So in order for you to make good business decisions, you really have to reflect and see what is out there. I'm not saying you always have to be trendy, like maybe you sell popcorn, right? Maybe you have a recipe and it's really great, or you have a restaurant and it's phenomenal, and you don't have to be trendy when it comes to changing up your products, but maybe it's the approach, right? Maybe it's how you interact with people. Maybe we know that if we're trying to hit a younger market, a younger demographic is going to be more inclined to look at something that's visual on Instagram or a reel, or maybe it's a TikTok. I'm not saying you have to go start a TikTok campaign right now if you're not there. That's okay. But the point is let's engage them. Let's make good decisions based upon the market, that how it's gonna address and affect your customers' experience, and that their needs are being met. Because the whole point of a business is you did something that you love, right? You do it really well and you want to see it succeed, but it's not going to succeed without the client base. So their opinions do matter, right? So stay ahead of your competitors. The best way to do that is constantly adapting and trying new things. I mean, you have to be a risk taker one way or another, right? And I, first of all, must say, I need to applaud you for being here in the first place, because you're wanting to educate yourself, right? That's how you stay ahead of your competitors. Learn, keep learning, keep anticipating, like seeing the changes that are going to be happening within the market, right? Understand that it's always changing. People's thoughts, their opinions, the things that they try, it's always changing, and it is okay to take that into consideration as you look at your key messaging, how you're identifying people, maybe the products that you're utilizing. Maybe it's a small change that they didn't like the label that was brown, and they want something that's going to pop from the shelves, and you identified that if you put a blue label on, it's going to do better because people are going to see it. Little things like that to get that engagement and that feedback. It also helps the customer feel as though they have a say in this all, right? They want to see you succeed and that you listened. And that's how you measure impact. I think it's the effectiveness of your strategies by paying attention to what went well, what changed, and then also how you're adjusting those needs, and then those customers feeling as though they're a part of the conversation and they're not just being sold an item to. So they're not a number, but instead they're somebody who's contributing to your success, and you want to have viable products that they're going to enjoy. So, and that goes back to strategy, going back to the idea that it is a reciprocal process, right? You have to continuously look at improving self. I think ego comes in a lot of times when we're business owners and we think that we know what our customers want because this is how things have been done and this is how they've always been done, right? There's truth to that, but there's also a lot of truth to understanding that, times change, right? there's no worse feeling than seeing like business models that are failing because they were not willing to adapt to customer needs, right? You could look at the fast food industry. There are several that close up all the time, and it's because why? Either they are engaging their audience, they're feeling as though that their audience has a say, and it's that reciprocal process, right? They're providing products that they want to see that they're, maybe it's a limited time, but they are constantly rebranding and shape shifting to make a mold still very iconic and classic, but be able to stand out amongst their competitors, right? And unless you're willing to do that, you fade away, and we don't want to see businesses fade. So reviewing your metrics, identifying trends, identifying those patterns, and then also adjusting strategies to improve your performance. I think that's just kind of like how we should be in general, right? How we should engage people, period, right? When you have a conversation, it's a very dynamic thing that happens when you have a conversation with a friend, right? You sit down, hey, how's it going? And then awkward silence happens when you haven't really engaged them and they're new. But then if you get to the point where you're constantly saying, hey, how's it going? Tell me about your day. What's going on? You start to build rapport with them, then what happens? Then they open up. Self-disclosure happens. It's all out there. They're already doing it on social media, just paying attention to that, to what their needs are. And then being able to attract them by means of being where they're at. I think that that's all extremely important and valid information. When I say market research and people talk about market research, oftentimes they want to think that it's boring, but it's not. It's just a way to get to know your friend better. It's just a way to get to know your customer or your client a little bit better. And I guarantee you that when they start to self-disclose and when they start to open up and you listen and you pay attention to what their needs are, or you adapt, maybe, like I said, maybe my audience online has been online for way too long. Maybe it's time we meet face to face. Imagine the possibilities of then having clients that feel like, whoa, she cares. She's meeting me in person and she's giving this advice, to me when I need it the most. So maybe I will make that investment, and maybe I will do that marketing plan, or maybe I will go ahead and whatever it may be, right? Get those sales in. So we do have a question that did come in, so thank you. Feel free to go ahead and just send your questions right now to the chat, because I wanted to make sure we had plenty of time for that. And the question is, what's the best way to find out who my competitor is? There's actually lots of different ways to do it. What's interesting? If you're on LinkedIn, I don't know what your business is, Jody, but I recommend, like, LinkedIn is always a great way to see kind of like where your stats are with others. You can have a business profile, and that literally gives you those analytical reports on, here are how they identify who your competitors are, maybe some competition, maybe it's like you have the same kind of audience base. So then they tell you, okay, this is how their posts are doing. Here's, how many followers they have. If I'm right, if you have a Facebook business page, you also have that access on Facebook to look at your competitors. Any of the business profiles, you'll have that. But if you're doing it on your own and you're not on socials, right? I would say get on socials, right? Just to have a presence. I would say have a website, right? Pay attention to websites, and then Google Analytics that you input into your website gives you that kind of data points. But more importantly, depending on what you're selling or what you're doing, Google it, do the research, right? See who's out there selling the same or similar products or services, follow them. Right? I'm sure, I guarantee you McDonald's is following Taco Bell, and Taco Bell is following Burger King, and maybe not Burger King anymore. They're falling off because they're not paying attention to their brand. Okay. But I guarantee you Louis Vuitton is following what, Christian Dior is doing, and Christian Dior is paying attention to what's coming out of Fendi, and so on and so forth, right? Maybe you're not luxury, but I guarantee you Toyota is paying attention to what's coming out of Ford and Ford's paying attention to Chrysler and GMC and so on and so forth. You know what I'm saying? It's all about like those key models of what you have, what is out there. You know, when you started the business, say it was a popcorn business, okay? You know that there's a lot of other popcorn places, right? There's also access and convenience of going to the store and seeing stuff on storefronts. But what makes you so different? Like, really, what makes you so different? And I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm saying you obviously know people love to eat popcorn, but maybe they're actually supporting it because they love your story and they love your journey and they love your personal narrative. And that's what resonates with them. And they want to see you successful. But how are they to know if you don't tell them, right? How are they to know your successes if you don't, share them? Let them feel those wins because they're wanting you to succeed just as much as you're wanting to succeed. So that's why I say do the research, get to know who the competitors are by seeing what's already out there. You are most welcome, Jody. I got another one that came in. This is from Monica. So Monica says, oh, I'm sorry if I missed this, but what if I just don't have a clue who my customer is? Okay. And their key groups to target them, right? To narrow down who I should be serving, okay, and assessing. Okay, so that's where we go back into saying the personas, right? So you have to start somewhere. Who in your mind is the ideal customer, right? So then I would go back into that marketing plan. We've had some others that we shared before. So go back and look at some of the other, this is a 3-part series, right? And we identified how to know your audience base, right? By understanding who you are first. It comes to your brand awareness and brand identity. So part of that brand identity is understanding what you're providing people, right? So if you know you have a product, and Monica, I don't know what your product is, but if you're providing a product, you have an idea of who you'd like to buy it. I think that the second part of our series, we were identifying case studies and saying, okay, there was like a eco-friendly water bottles, right? That, our intention, who we think our brand persona is going to be hikers, right? People who are outdoors, people who walk a lot. Like we want to get into like the fitness community. And then when you actually survey those people, then you realize, whoa, or you pay attention to who's going on to your website, paying attention to who's logging in and like buying the actual water bottles, right? You look at those reports and then you say, whoa, there is like a huge group of moms who are buying these water bottles because they're on the go with their kids and they want an eco-free or eco-friendly water bottle. So then you can make sure that you still are targeting the persona, that audience base that you want, but then you also see a different segment that comes out of it and you can retool some messaging just for them. So it starts with really kind of, yeah. Oh, no, I'm glad that makes sense for you. But it really starts with you identifying ideally who would I want? Like, who do I want to attract, right? Who do I want to be buying my water bottles, right? Who do I want to be buying my luxurious marketing plans? Ha 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 ha, right? I have to figure out who they are. Like, who do I want as my customer base? Who would I ideally want to work with? And then, I start to attract by messaging them. And then, like I said, in turn, then it's a reciprocal process. Have a conversation with them, pay attention to your metrics, and you might find it's everyday people, it's small businesses, it's large businesses, it's mostly nonprofits, whatever it may be. Okay. Any other questions that are in here? Oh, here we got another one. This is from, let's see. Oh, they're all coming in. Get it. I love it. I love all of it. Okay, what type of advice? This is from Jamie. What type of advice would you have okay, to getting a high school, middle schoolers into your business? We run a movie theater and are okay. You're wanting to do the reach out for the younger demographics. Okay. I would say if you're looking for a younger demographic base, right? So you're looking for tweens and teens, then I would say where are tweens and teens? Really, where are they? They're online, right? And so if you know they're online, then I would say, where are they listening to? Are they probably listening on the go to Spotify? They're probably listening to iTunes. They're probably on TikTok or on Instagram, most likely TikTok. So then look at buying ads in those places, right? Because that's where they are online. Or if you're wanting to do it more reasonably priced because you can't afford the pricing for ads, then I would say create reels that are going to be relevant to them so that way they can see what you got going on. And I mean, like a movie theater could be like anything from, somebody who, I don't know what's coming. I don't know what's out right now. Let's go with Indiana Jones because that's like so random. But say somebody's dressed like Indiana Jones sitting in the movie theater and is watching a clip of Indiana Jones. I don't know, like, right? So then all of a sudden it goes from like a little tiny segment because we always want to pay attention to copyrights. And if I think it's less than 2 seconds, we're good. But like a blip, and then it goes to Indiana Jones sitting and he jumps up and he's like says something and he talks about how amazing this movie theater is. That's how you can target them. You make a reel out of it, make it entertaining for them, right? Another way to target them is like, that they're in schools, right? So then see if you can do a partnership, be a community partner of the school, right? Provide maybe a discount for them so that they're going to want to go. They have disposable income, but not that much. So maybe $5 movie nights are going to be something that attracts them. Or, for students only with IDs. So that kind of thing is where you would want to look at the younger demographic and then really play up how you engage them because it's where they are. Now, moving on to April, I hope that helps, Jamie. If you have more questions, just office@losafina.com and just know I can help you out. I can help you all out. But here, April is asking, how do you break into a market, right, that is fairly closed off to services? All right. My customers is school systems, and there's a lot of red tape, yes, to work through. I get that. Okay. We were just talking about that process, right? Um, so then if you know that it's closed off, that's not only where you're going to find them, right? Like we just talked about that they're probably online, but maybe you're talking about services like maybe their therapy, maybe their health services, maybe so maybe there are other partnerships where you can look and see how you can do a collaboration to engage somebody who's already tapped into that market, right? And do like a collab. Maybe it is having a vendor booth at a fair that is going to attract that market base because that's where they're walking through, right? Or maybe there's after school programming that you can partner with because they're a nonprofit and they could totally love for you to engage in them. Maybe it's you becoming a credible insider by you providing details in a publication where their parents are going to see, and that's going to be something that they're going to need. So that's the kind of stuff where we like, for me, it's hard when you're a small business, right? So that's where I would say, sometimes you just have to invest and, look at a boutique agency like myself or a larger firm and really like make the marketing investment. Remember, we talked about the first series, like marketing budget, you have to plan for it, right? But that's where maybe you're going to have to work with somebody to really truly who can come up and strategize how to break into that industry for you. So that way you're reaching them if you know that there's a lot of red tape that you're going to have to go through. A little off the subject, your opinion on Facebook geo-targeting. It is way off the subject, Stephen. Steve. That's actually, I would say I can go take that offline. Feel free to message me on office@losafina.com. Just because that's something that I feel is a little bit too advanced for what we're discussing here. And I want people to really take things that are very palatable and understand the basics and the fundamentals of marketing. So when you get into geo-targeting, there's lots of different opinions I have on that. So I would say go ahead and message me at office@losafina.com and we can go ahead and just have a friendly conversation offline on that one. Jamie, yes, thank you. I hope that is all helpful. I hope I didn't miss anyone else's messaging. But Steve, wow, kudos to you, Steve Peterson, because that was a great question. I do want people to remember that, educating yourself, not just on your business, right? And not just on your customer base, but and not just on like society as a whole, but kind of like what here we have Steve was saying is, like there are so many software and tools and things that are constantly being thrown our way as like as business owners and small business owners. AI is another, right? See how you can inform yourself, right? Educate yourself on what is all in existence out there that is going to help build your brand, that's going to help build you, that you're going to be able to target like certain specific demographics and areas, because I think that is all important. But for case in point, what we're doing today and as we're wrapping up, I just wanted to make sure that we hit the fundamentals. Any other questions or thoughts? If not, I'm gonna go ahead and hand it over to our friend Tanya, who can go ahead and close us out.
Well, thank you so much. It was really informative. I'm excited to kind of even implement some stuff into my own personal business. So thank you so much for presenting today. And she did do a 3-part series. So please go and check, if you're just hopping on this part, to go check the other 2 parts out as well. They're on our training library, but I'm gonna just wrap us up here really quick. Awesome. So once again, thank you for joining us. If you do have any questions, my name's Tanya, so feel free to give us a call at 308-338-3520, or you can email me, tanya@grownebraska.org, to schedule an appointment. We do have some more upcoming trainings coming up. Our July 3rd is our Google training with Maria Duran. It's valuable visibility, being an expert on your customer. And then July 18th, we have defining a niche market and why it saves marketing dollars. And then July 25th is the power of storytelling, emphasizing the human connection between your brand and your customers. And then if you want to kind of check out all our upcoming trainings, you can scan this QR code here, or it will be in the follow-up email. We have our Market Tech 2025 conference. Save the date. It is March 25th and 26th. And we have Chelsea. She was at the I'm social media examiner. She was a keynote there, and we are bringing her in this year to do a lot on either Instagram video content. And so we encourage you to save the date for our Market Tech conference. Know it's a ways out, but just get it on your calendars if you can. And then Grow Nebraska recently launched open office hours. These are open for our members to take assistance with any like Google business page, social media help. But if you are not a member with us, we'd love to have you hop on and just discuss with Jody or I a little bit more about Grow Nebraska, and also seeing how we can assist your business grow into the online marketplace. And then I encourage you all to follow us on social media. We are on, I think, any platform we could possibly think of. And so we like to try to stay informed so we can help our members out on the different platforms. And then lastly, if you just want to leave us a quick Google review to let us know your thoughts on the training. And we hope to see you on the next one. Awesome. Well, thank you, everyone. I hope everyone has a good rest of their afternoon.
Thank you.